All right, going to introduce our last speaker of the day here, Coach Ben Jacobson. Ben Jacobson is the head men's basketball coach at the University of Northern Iowa and has been since 2006. He served as an assistant at North Dakota State, and Northern Iowa before taking over as head coach at Northern Iowa. Jacobson has accomplished much in his time at UNI. He holds the title of all-time winningest coach at UNI with 220 victories through 10 seasons. He has guided the Panthers to 4 NCAA tournament appearances and 4 NCAA victories. Along with his success on the basketball court, Coach Jacobson has exemplified what it means to be a leader by showing class and dignity on and off the court. Coach Jacobson lives in Cedar Falls with his wife and 2 sons. Help me in welcoming Coach Ben Jacobson.
Thanks. Thank you. Boy, great to be here today. Honored to be here today, to be part of the your Leadership Academy, to follow Coach Kearns, who I've watched a little bit each of the past few years on the computer, and gotten chills sitting in my office chair as I've watched him on the computer, and had a chance today to be here live and see it. Thank you, Coach. But again, to be part of this day is special for me to think, and more importantly for us to know that our program is in a position where we can hopefully have a little bit of an impact on who you are, a little bit of an impact on what you do, a little bit of an impact on how you influence others. To know that our guys have done a good job, to know that they have put our program in a position where we can do that. It certainly makes me proud. As was mentioned, been in town now. This will be my 16th year as our head coach. I was 11th year as our head coach. I was an assistant coach for 5 years. My wife and I have got the 2 young boys that are 7th grade and 5th grade. And 7th grader is playing tackle football for the first time, and 5th graders playing flag football. They play a little basketball. They play a little baseball. And just having, my wife and I are having a blast with those guys. And you know, as I on the drive over, I thought about them a little bit, and I thought about where you're at. I certainly hope when they get to be your age that they take part and they take on the responsibility of spending time here at this type of leadership academy, this type of leadership day, so that they also can work hard to see if they can't bring some things back to their friends and bring back to their school, and see if they can't make things a little bit better. When I think about, before I start, if there's something while I'm going and you want me to talk a little more about it, or you've got a question about it, feel free. Okay, raise your hand, shout it out. Go ahead and feel free to do that. I'd be happy to take a question or talk more about something while I'm going, and it can be anything. It can be about our program. It can be whatever I might be doing with my boys. It can be about PlayStation 4 if you want. I'm playing Madden 17 right now. If any of you guys are gamers, if you're playing PlayStation or Xbox, it makes no difference to me. I love talking about whatever it is that would be on your mind. Okay, I think about leadership, and for me and for our program, try to keep it real simple. Can we inspire those around us to believe? Can we inspire those around us to believe? Believe in, number one, who they are. Believe in, number two, the group. And it doesn't matter what type of group we're talking about, your organization. And number three, believe that with a little hard work, a little determination, a little bit of creativity, that we can accomplish anything and everything that we dream about. Those are the 3 things that, boy, if you can take that back and inspire people around you to believe, I think that can go a long ways for you. I've got our program manual, what I share with our players, what I go through in recruiting, and we're going to run through that. And I told Aaron when we were talking about today, it's something that has been very good for our program in terms of both recruiting. It's been very good with our players. I also think there's some good lessons in there, some good examples in here that we'll be able to talk about, some things that have that have happened with our guys, some things they have done. My hope is there's something in here for you that you can take back with you. Okay, now the most challenging part of the day. Hey, 1 for 1. You'll see some, okay, 1 for 2. Thank you. You'll see some numbers up on the board there. Numbers that we're very proud of. Numbers that work well in recruiting. I don't show them to you today for those reasons. And I want you to understand, leadership is not about numbers. The next slide, I believe, has trophies on it. Leadership is not about trophies. Leadership is about people. Leadership is about people, right? If you want to take a second, go ahead and read the quote that's on there now. I heard Coach say it. When they were at practice, when they were getting ready, it wasn't talking about this team or that team, or we have to beat them, or we have to do this with that group. And it's the same thing for our program. It's about the things you're doing each and every day. For us, it isn't about the 140-minute game. And we've been in some big ones. It isn't about the Valley Championship game. It's not about the NCAA tournament game. It's simply about what we are doing each and every day so that we are prepared, sure, for that 40 minutes. But it isn't about that 40 minutes. It's about what we're doing each and every day. Tradition. And I feel like I'm in the best place, certainly one of the best places in the country, to talk for just a second about tradition. My head coach in college, his name was Rich Glass. He said, tradition is not what you take with you. Tradition is what you leave behind. Tradition is not what you take with you. It's what you leave behind. And he told us that over and over and over. And it makes a lot more sense to me now, at my age, and having gone through a number of different experiences. And I am extremely proud to have played for Coach Glass and at the University of North Dakota. And a lot of that has to do with the guys that played before we got there, the guys that have played there since. On the video, which I've seen a number of times that we just saw, how did Coach Thomas send the guys out? What's the last thing he asked them? Where are you from? AP. Where are you from? AP. Right? 3 times. And it's not just to get them started and to get them going for that game. And I wasn't fortunate enough to know Coach Thomas. But I can sure see it when I watch that video. It isn't just about that game. It's about tradition. So this is the way we like to start our book. We like to start with our tradition. For us in basketball, I like that picture a lot. Anybody know what happened about 3 seconds after that picture? He made the half-court shot. That ball banked in, right? I like that picture. It's an awesome moment. Part of our tradition. When we got here, 1990 was the best example that we had. When we got here in 2001, 2002, we were able to look at that team in 1990 and say, you know what, those guys went to the NCAA tournament. Why can't we go? We're going to go to the NCAA tournament because they did it in 1990. And as I thought about it a little bit, you either have already been a part of something like that at your school, or you need to be. If you're a part of that, if you've got a great example at your school, then do what you can to live up to it and maybe beat it just a little bit. If you don't have one already, then be the first ones. We needed that 1990 team. They didn't know we needed them. They had no idea we were coming in 2001. But we needed them. So when you think about where you're at, you think about your school, you think about the groups you're a part of, there's either a really good example already for you, or do what you can to be that example. Because somebody's coming after you. 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, somebody's coming. And they're going to need you. You saw 04, 05, 06. I was an assistant during those years. We were able to get back in 2009, 2010. In 2010, we went to the Sweet 16. We beat the number one team in the country, the number one overall seed in the NCAA tournament. And two things when I see this picture. One, I'd ask you to take a look at their faces, the individual expressions on their faces. And every time I see that, I think about how much hard work those guys put in. You have to earn that one. That feeling right there that you can see on their faces, boy, you have to earn that one. And the second thing I would tell you, I'm not in the picture. If you look close, if you look right over Kajo's head, right past it, you can see Bill Self, the coach from Kansas. I'm on the other sideline. And as this happened, and you can see the expression on their faces. I'm walking, I was happy, but I'm walking right at him. Remember shaking his hand, and he was terrific. And then my next thought was, all right, who do we play next? Now what do we got to do? Now, these guys want to go to the Final Four. What are we going to do now? We got to. And I told our team last year, and I learned in that moment that it is okay to enjoy it. And that's been a big deal for me. The last couple years, I've been a lot better as a head coach. I told our guys last year after Paulie banked in that half quarter, we got in the locker room, I said, fellas, you enjoy this as long as you want. And we'll get ready for our next game when it's time. And we did. And we played great in that next game. But I had a little more fun with the one this year, simply because I looked at it a little bit differently. How many of you have won a district, been on a team or individually, a district competition, a regional competition? Anybody? Been a part of that, or your school's been a part of that? No? How many of you won a state championship? Yeah, congratulations to everybody. There weren't as many that have won the state title, right? In your sport or in your competition, there's only one state champion. It doesn't mean that should be the only team that feels good about what they did all year. If you win a district championship, if you win a competition, you had to work hard to get there. And it's okay to enjoy it a little bit. 2015, 2016, our last 2 years, we've had a lot of fun, had a lot of good things happen. And again, I'll remind you, I chose to go through this and share it with you. Yeah, it does make me feel good, a lot of fun moments on there. But most importantly, I hope there's some things in here that can help you, with what we're doing today, okay? So you're going to hear me talk about the guys and see some things about the program, but boy, I sure hope there's something in there for you. Well, since I asked about the last one, anybody remember after he shot that one? Huh? It hit the rim, went straight up, came straight down. Happens maybe 1 in a million times, right? But another fun moment for our guys. Been on the cover of Sports Illustrated twice. You know, when Ali Farouk, who's in that one, when he comes back to campus and when we see him, when he's around, right, he doesn't, and these were awesome, but he doesn't have that Sports Illustrated with him. When he comes back, he wants to talk about his teammates. He wants to talk about what it took to get to where we got. He wants to talk about his new young family. Again, leadership is about people, right? Leadership is about people. Some of our core values. We don't have a lot of sayings at our place. I don't give a lot of long talks with our guys. In fact, some of them will be surprised if they were to watch this 40 minutes. They may say, boy, I've never seen Coach talk this long. We work hard to set an example. We feel like we've got a good culture. I don't have a lot of sayings. These three things we do talk about: toughness, teamwork, and trust. Toughness, I think, hard to define, but you know it when you see it. You know, when it's around you, when you're a part of it, you know. Teamwork, for us, we're looking forward in recruiting. We're looking forward every day on the practice floor. We're looking for leaders in our program to both show it and be able to help some other guys understand it. They might be younger guys. They might be guys without as much experience. But teamwork is vital for us to be able to do what we do. And then trust. And we talk about it in our program. We have to be able to trust our players. Our players have to be able to trust us. And the players have to be able to trust each other. It goes all three ways. And the best groups that I've been a part of, that has been at a really high level. That trust factor has been at a really, really high level. One of the most, maybe the most important aspects of trust, we feel, is sacrifice. And I think we all understand sacrifice. And as I talk about it with our guys from time to time, even though we all understand it, I think we're also all a little bit the same. It's a lot more fun when it's the person next to us. We know how important it is. We understand what it means to sacrifice. It's just a little more fun when it's the person next to us. When I'm not coaching basketball, I spend a lot of time with my family. And we happen to have a lake place up right around Detroit Lakes, Minnesota. We spend a lot of time fishing. I love to do that. If we were, can I get somebody who wants to volunteer and interact real quick? Yeah. Yeah, come on up on stage. I think that'd be awesome. Let's give our young guy a round of applause for coming right up on stage. All right, what's your name?
Trevor.
Name is Trevor. Where are you from?
Appleton, Parkersburg.
No surprise you wanted to come up right on stage with all the examples that you've had around you. All right, tell me something you enjoy doing, Trevor.
Running.
You enjoy running, okay? We're different. All right, so we're on the same team, right? And we are working to win the state championship. Let's say, what's one of your favorite sports outside of running?
Volleyball. I don't know.
Volleyball?
Tennis.
Tennis. All right, we're doubles partners in tennis. All right. And we're going to win the state title in tennis. But the only way we can get there is with a little bit of sacrifice. So here's your options. I have to sacrifice my fishing so we can practice, or you have to sacrifice your running so we can practice. Mm-hmm. Which one sounds better to you?
You sacrifice your
Me sacrificing my fishing, right? Again, we all understand sacrifice. Had Trevor said the other, I think we all know he would have been fibbing, right? It's just natural. It is. There's no other way to feel about it. There's no other way to think about it. When it comes to sacrificing, we all get it. But it's just more fun when it's the person that's next to us. And if we can find a way, let's give Trevor a round of applause. Thanks, Trevor. If you can find a way to be able to sacrifice a little bit more or to be the one that sacrifices something you really enjoy doing, that will spread throughout your team. And that's a hard one, but it will spread throughout your team. And the trust will certainly grow. All right, our academics. That's Seth Tuttle from a couple years ago. Anybody here from Sheffield? Not today? Just a couple reminders on some academic things. Apply a little more to what we're doing since you got more free time when you're in college. Our teams have done very well academically. And this one I want to talk about a little bit for a couple of reasons. One, in terms of leadership, promise yourself you're not just going to lead where you're most comfortable. You know, I'm our basketball coach, and our guys are there in a lot of ways on scholarship to play basketball. These two young guys are a great example of both their passion being basketball, understanding the importance of academics, and also understanding some personal growth. So please promise yourself you are not going to just lead in the area that you're most comfortable with, in the area that you enjoy the most, that you will lead in all areas that have to do with your school. Ted Friedman has played limited minutes. He's a terrific basketball player, but he has played limited minutes so far in his career. You know what else he's doing? Besides practicing like crazy so he can help our team, even though he's in a little different role, one that isn't as much fun. Ted's getting 3 majors in our business department. And those of us that are old enough and have been through college, for some of us, like me, getting 1 was hard enough. He's getting 3 majors. And his playing role isn't significant right now. And it's going to change and it's going to get better. He also won the top award at the Valley Tournament, the top academic award. So he is doing a tremendous job in terms of his leadership with our program, with things that are outside of basketball. Jeremy Morgan is our best player. Not only is he our best player, last year he was all-academic team in the Missouri Valley Conference, understanding that his leadership goes far beyond the basketball court and that he has a responsibility to lead in the classroom as well. Both those guys have just been terrific. There we go. Personal growth. We talk about 2 things. One is our school song. And I'm certain at your school that gets talked about and you understand why. You understand the kind of pride it takes and what it means. And then the other is the national anthem. And right now there's a conversation going on nationally about the national anthem with some of the protests. And we've been doing this with our guys for 4 years now. We've had this book, and what I've told our guys each and every year, and we're going to have an extended conversation this year about the national anthem and about the protests. But what I've told our guys each and every year is that it is an opportunity for us to be able to honor our veterans, honor our military, and that we will stand with our hand over our heart while the national anthem is being played. And my message will be the same this year. I believe in that. The other thing I've thought about a lot since Colin Kaepernick, his protest and what's going on in our country is understanding that not all of us have the same life experiences. Understanding that it is someone's right to peacefully protest. And I bring that up very briefly. I'm not going to spend my time today talking more about that, but I will have an extended conversation with our team and with our players. And I think both sides of that are important. The other thing that we talk about, and it changes each year, and this year we took the example of Ryan Lochte, and we talk a lot about character and a lot about integrity in our program. And the message that we will share with our guys this year, if you remember, Ryan Lochte is a tremendous swimmer, got himself and some teammates in some trouble late at night, early morning, when they were in Brazil at the Olympic Games. And the two things that we'll talk about with our guys and what I would mention to you. One, if something doesn't go quite right or if you make a bad decision, just grab onto it, own up to it, so we can immediately move on. And he spent a lot of time trying to get around it. And two, in a leadership position, the understanding that at one point or another, there's a chance that each of us is going to make a decision that we don't feel great about. So this isn't about judging, in this case, Ryan Lochte. It's about the understanding that, can we own it and can we move on? This is one of my favorite things to talk about. We have spent the last 2 years, Kurt Warner has been at the NCAA tournament with us, and he has been absolutely awesome. Kurt was a quarterback at our place, and he had to wait his turn and wait his turn and wait his turn, and he finally made it and played for a year. When he got done, he had to wait his turn and wait his turn. He was out of football, had to wait his turn, then he finally made it again and had a tremendous career in the NFL. And there's a couple things that I've learned from Kurt. And, he's a little bit, in the time that I've gotten to know Aaron Thomas here, Coach Thomas, they've got a lot of similarities in terms of their passion, in terms of their leadership, in terms of their communication. Kurt played in a Super Bowl or two. There's a difference a little bit. But their passion and their pride and sharing it with young people lines up. But this year at the NCAA tournament, Kurt talked to our guys about perception and reality. And he talked about, before that Texas game, what's the perception with our guys? The perception is Texas is this big school, right? In the Big 12, everybody knows who Texas is. Texas is going to win this game. That's the perception. And Kurt's message was, hey guys, what is your reality? What is your reality? Because your reality doesn't have to match up with people's perception. And he went right through our guys. And he was talking to Matt Bohannon. And he said, Bo, if it gets late in the game, Wes drives it and Wes pitches it, and it ends up in your hands, what's going to happen? Bo said, well, I'm going to make it. He said, you sure? He said, yep. And he's talking to Jacobson and said, Paul, well, if Coach runs some plays for you early in the game, we have to get off to a good start. What's going to happen? Well, I'm going to make it. Are you sure, Paul? Yes. Kurt, I'm sure. He said, Wes, everybody's talking about Isaiah Taylor from Texas and how good he is and how he's going to lead his team to victory. What's your reality, Wes? What's going to happen tomorrow? And Wes said, Kurt, that's not happening tomorrow. I've been leading our team to get to this point, and tomorrow I'm going to lead our team again. And we're going to beat Texas. Doesn't matter how good Isaiah Taylor is. And Kurt went through 3 or 4 more of our guys. And as I'm sitting there listening to him, I'm thinking about, wow, you want to talk about leadership. Inspiring the people around you to believe. He had our guys believing. That perception, yeah, everybody's got it. And they're over here. What's your reality? What do you think you're capable of? And I have always been, and maybe like a lot of you, I have always been a big guy, the name on the front of the jersey, until that conversation. For me, it's always been about the name on the front of the jersey. The name on the back doesn't matter. Well, you know what I learned from Kurt and in that conversation? The name on the back matters. What's your reality? Are you going to let it match up with the perception that people have for you and for your program or for your school? Or are you going to do everything that you can to have your reality be what everybody sees and be what you believe in? And the only way for that to happen, the only way for the name on the front of the jersey to excel is through the name on the back. It doesn't mean that you don't care about the name on the front. The name on the back matters. Your reality matters. Your reality makes the difference. And what a powerful message that was for me and for our program. And then these next two are just a couple of reminders for our guys. No more than that. Things you've already seen. You be accountable, you're going to work, you're going to compete, you're going to sacrifice. Some things I've talked about, but things that you've heard plenty and you know well about. And then a couple things that we ask our guys again just to think about. We'll not cut corners, we won't complain, we won't give in, and we won't make excuses. Just some reminders for our guys of things that we all understand. And then as we wrap up our book with our guys, we've got these 5 things that are very important for us, very important for our guys to understand, for the leadership of our program. And we ask our guys as they go through our program, they get to be juniors, they get to be seniors. We work hard as they go through to help them understand the impact they can have on the people around them. And when we're recruiting and we have this conversation, I want them to understand when they're a sophomore in high school, junior in high school, and their family to understand that leadership is going to be part of what's expected at Northern Iowa. That you're not just coming to Northern Iowa to be a basketball player. You're coming to Northern Iowa to help lead and help be part of our tradition. The first one of the 5, put the team first. And I've talked about teamwork already today. Put the team first. Falls in line a little bit with sacrifice and what Trevor and I were talking about. The second one, just do your job. And we've all got a different one. I'll give you a couple examples. Jeremy Morgan right now is our best player. His job this year is very different than what it was last year, what it was 2 years ago. And he was great for us. He's had a tremendous career. But his job now includes everything he's done the last 2 years, plus all of the things he needs to do from a leadership standpoint. Offensively, he's going to have to score more points, but he's still got to be the best defender. He's still got to do all the things that he's done. So his job is very different now than what it was as a sophomore and as a junior. I've come to understand that my job is very different. Kurt Warner helped me understand that. Listening to Coach Kearns helped me understand that. Getting to know the Thomas family helped me understand that. My job is different, and it's changing all the time. The second part of that, for our guys, for my staff, for anyone in our program, sometimes it's easy to question the other guy. Well, I'm doing my job. Why aren't they doing theirs? And that hurt us a little bit this year when we were 2-6. And once our 4 older guys and myself figured out that our job was to help those younger guys have the confidence it takes to be able to play well, things got a lot better fast. Instead of questioning why they weren't doing a little bit better job at what they were supposed to be doing, as Coach mentioned earlier, let's focus on the solution. So doing your job, trusting in your preparation. And the way I like to put it to our guys, you spend so much time working, and whatever it is that you're passionate about, whether it's being part of a team or it's an individual, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is you're passionate about, you spend so much time working so that you can be the best. For our guys, when it comes time to play, I want them to enjoy it. I want them to take threes 3-4 seconds into the shot clock. I want them to do things like Ali did back in 2010 where people are shaking their head like, whoa, it's the worst shot I've ever seen. I love that. I love that about our guys because it tells me that they are prepared, that they have worked so hard that there is no moment that's too big for them, that they are willing to lay it on the line, regardless of what may come afterwards. If he misses that shot, he's got to answer to a lot of people. He didn't care. He had dreamed about that moment forever, and he had prepared himself. So I tell our guys all the time, you're going to trust in that hard work. You're going to believe that that hard work matters, and that hard work is going to pay off. Be honest, be responsible, be respectful. We live in a different world. I will never forget. I was younger than you guys. I was probably the age of my sons. We were going in our old station wagon. Pretty sure we didn't have air conditioning. A couple windows probably wouldn't go down, right? We were taking a trip. And I had the bright idea, after being told not to do this, that I would open the bag of chips and I would have a couple. After we were all told, I've got a brother that's a year older, a brother that's a year younger. We were told that we get no snacks till we go on the trip. Well, my dad walked by me and noticed what I had done and turned, and as soon as he turned, I knew I was in trouble. And he turned, and I was so scared. I'm still scared. And he grabbed me by the shirt, and he picked me up just enough to get my feet off the ground and put me against the wall. He didn't hurt me, scared me, but he had me, and he's a big guy. And I only tell you that. I'm not suggesting that's the way everybody should be. That's who my dad was. But it helped me understand that being honest, being responsible, and being respectful, that matters. And I think sometimes today, that gets pushed off to the side a little bit. I think sometimes today you see all these things on social media. It's a little too easy. You think, well, so-and-so, they weren't very honest. So-and-so wasn't very respectful. They're making $1 million, they're making this, they're doing that. No, it doesn't seem so bad. Well, here's what I can tell you. If you want to get and do everything you want to get and do, that those three things still really matter. And my guess is we're well past the days where anybody, a parent, a coach, and again, is going to grab you by the shirt and, put you out. We're well past those days. But it doesn't mean those three things still aren't going to get you where you want to get. And the last one, and I think this is why we've had a lot of success at our place. I think this is why our culture is good. I think this is why we've got tradition, something we can be proud of. Dream big, keep your inner circle small. The last part is about social media in particular. Keeping your inner circle small. Trusting and believing in the people that helped you get where you've gotten to, but not necessarily listening to all of the things that you're going to see and read. Keep your inner circle small. There's a lot of people that care about you. There's a lot of people that want to see you do well. Continue to let them. But there are going to be some others that, as Kurt Warner talked about, have a perception. Keep that inner circle small. But then dream big. As I talked about with Ali, that's all he'd ever wanted to do. When we first got here, we wanted to get to an NCAA tournament. When we did, we wanted to go to the Sweet 16. Now we want to go to the Final Four. And we believe that we can do it. And I want our guys to dream about that. I want the young people we're recruiting to dream about that. We believe we can do it. Last year, the team we had wasn't quite good enough. But the leadership on the team last year was unbelievable. And the way it played out, it may have been our best chance to date, even though they were the third or fourth best team we've had. Because of the leadership. And because they believed. So I would encourage you. Again, whatever you're passionate about, boy, dream. Dream big. And then I think this, the last slide. You know, the arena there when it's full, but the statement on the bottom. And I'd like to tie this to what I talked about when I mentioned leadership. The difference between who you are and who you want to be is what you do. And I know with the speakers that have been up here today, you've got some awesome notes and some awesome things to take back with you. And when I started and talked about leadership, your ability to inspire the people that you're around to believe, and most importantly, believe in who they are. It has to start with that. Believing in who they are. If you can inspire people to do that, boy, you're really getting something done. And because you're here, you made the decision to be part of this group, or a teacher, a coach, somebody asked you because they see that potential in you, that last statement right there fits you. It'll be about what you do now when you get back. And I feel so fortunate to spend my time with young people and watching them grow and seeing them lead. I've had some unbelievable examples. And I can tell you that what you do makes a difference. It will make a difference. I think that's our last one. So I wish you well. We're down to about 2 minutes. I think I hit her just about right. But I wish you well. Yep, thanks for having me.
All right. We're just about done here. We've got a final video to show. Before we do that, though, I want to close with that video. There's a couple things I want to go over. First of all, I want everybody to be sure to thank our sponsors. And I know this is being live streamed, so why don't we all, on the count of 3, give a big thank you so that if any of them are watching, they can hear that, all right? It's going to be fun, right? 1, 2, 3. Thank you! All right. That felt great. All right. There are evaluations that all of you got, leaders and students. Fill those out. We want to hear your feedback. There will be somebody collecting those on your way out in a box on the outside of the auditorium. In your box here, or in your pamphlet, there's a pledge, okay? Who feels like they're going to be a better leader after today? All of us, right? Okay, that's the easy part, is to feel like that right now. The hard part is tomorrow, next week, next month when you're back home. So before you sign this, think really hard. Be committed to being that leader, all right? Thank you again for coming. It was a great day. We're going to close out with this video. Safe travels. Thanks.
There are a lot of you young people in here tonight, and I want to share one thing with you. I'm doing what I'm doing today and tonight because of an impact of my high school football coach, Jerry Dolly. And I carried him to his grave. But I don't know if I ever took the time to tell him what he meant in my life. You young people, take time. Think about who's helped you become who you are today. Take time to give them a call. If it be mom, if it be dad, if it be your high school coach, a grandparent, or send them a letter. Tell them, thanks, what you've done for me. You know, as a coach and as a teacher with you young people, we're not trying to just teach you science and math and history and how to play the game of football. They're trying to in some way make a difference in your life. That's why I do what I do today. I've looked at what I do as my mission field in life. God put me in Parkersburg, Iowa for a reason. Maybe this past year was the reason, I'm not sure. But I do know this. I'm in the greatest profession there is in this world, I think, because I get to work with young people like you every day of my life. And God willing, I'm going to be able to do that for a few more years, I hope. But I have a greater passion for what I do now because I realize my time is getting less. Young people, have a passion for whatever you do in life. Have a passion for what you do. And impact other people. I heard Lou Holtz talk out at Notre Dame. And he closed that day with 3 questions. And I'm going to close with those same 3 questions tonight. He said 3 questions to ask of yourself. Number 1, do you care about other people? Number 2, can people trust you? And number 3, are you committed to excellence in every phase of your life? From your relationship to God to what you're going to do as a profession. And you think about those 3 questions. That says a lot about the type of person you are. There are a lot of you young people in here.